Okay, we're live and ready to go, but we're going to give it a couple minutes to see if our buddy can come in here soon, Mr. Dylan. But yeah, so what's been new, guys?
Nothing much on this side.
No, we're going to give it a couple minutes. Oh,
Just talking.
sorry, that's me talking because I was just making sure the stream was working.
Oh, I'm like, if that's Dylan, I can barely hear him.
No, I'm hoping. Just gonna let him know we're live. Join us when you can. Okay. Well, I don't want to delay too long. I had a couple ideas for how we can do this, just to kind of like guide us through the process.
Oh, what's up?
Hey, Dylan's live.
What's up, Dylan?
Buddy?
What's happening?
I mean, I know you do, Jake.
I mean, yeah, I can see him.
How's it going, Dylan?
Pretty good.
I didn't ask you, Adam.
Oh, okay, fine.
So I'm glad you're here. So basically, the way I structured it, I broke it into 4 parts. We'll do started off with some talk about E3, what you want to see, what you think you're going to see. Second phase will be like the big upcoming games. Talk about some of the ones you want to see and like what you think they're going to be like, things like that. I know that Jake has an idea for that area. So, and then virtual reality. I wanted to dive into your opinions on like what that marketplace looks like, really what you're going to be thinking about, where it's going to go, stuff like that. And then we'll talk about Adam's hands-on time with the Nintendo Switch. Kind of get a vibe there. We can all ask him questions and see what it's all about. I've already gotten the pleasure of picking his brain, but we'll get to do this live now. Now we are live, so let's start there. Let's go with E3. We know that it's coming up pretty soon. So, like, what are you hoping to see? Like, let's just start with you, Adam. Tell me a little bit about who you're hoping to see there and what kind of games you're hoping to see.
I want to say Nintendo because they weren't really there last year, but they have reason to be this year. My theory with when they announced, I guess this is my microphone. I need to remember that so I don't cover it up. My theory was with the games they announced that there's no way that was it. Like, I'm sure that was like bare bones what they could announce. But I was telling a guy at work, I'm like, there's no way they're not holding stuff back, and E3 would be the place to do it. Because then by then the console's been out for what, 4 or 5 months?
Yeah, that's true. And then the Switch will be out for like 3 months by that point.
3 or 4 months, yeah. So it'd be the perfect time to bust out like, oh, by the way, here's a bunch more games. Even if it's a treehouse.
They released one game in like the last 6 months of the Wii U's life. One.
Yeah.
So it's got to be something else there.
Are they doing E3 in June this year?
Yeah, I think it's the same time every time.
Cool.
So they'll be there. I mean, you're gonna have all the major players there, obviously, like Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo, but then also like
Bethesda.
Yeah.
You pretty excited for Bethesda?
Always. Who is not excited for Bethesda?
Did you hear what Microsoft did?
No.
Oh, yeah, Microsoft tried to screw over Bethesda and schedule a conference at the same time.
Microsoft is doing a Sunday conference this year.
Oh my god!
Yep.
And so Bethesda on their Twitter was like, what was it like?
Imitation's
the best form of flattery. Yeah.
That's hysterical. Well, I gotta say, like, just from the perspective of like Bethesda and Microsoft's like relationship, it seemed like it was getting better. Like, it seemed like PlayStation was making more mistakes there, especially with like Fallout and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, the mods.
With the mods in situation, but this is a pretty big like slap in the face right there when you're just saying like one of your biggest partners and one of your growing partners is not going to get the same time slot as you, or if they are, they're going to get overshadowed.
Well, someone was saying that Microsoft is going to try to distance themselves from the Sony conference, because what happens every year is Microsoft does their conference on Wednesday, I think it is.
Oh, that's right.
And then the next day, immediately Thursday, Sony comes out. And it's not that Sony's is better. Sometimes certain years have been better for Sony. But the problem is that Sony knows how to put on a better conference in general, even if they don't have a lot to announce. And so even if Microsoft does have a good one, Sony gets that last word. So what Microsoft is wanting to do is let's do ours on Sunday, and that gives people Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to talk about our news, soak in our information, and then let Sony have their day.
That makes sense.
Because right now it's Microsoft and then Sony, and then all anyone can talk about is Sony.
Mm-hmm. No, that makes sense. Just because, like, at that point, you're gonna have more like logical ideas about like what's actually being said and things like that.
Now, depending on what gets released, though, wouldn't the crowd's favor decide what gets talked about, anyways? I mean, what do they really gain by distancing themselves from one competitor to basically, in some ways, challenge someone that they have to work with?
I mean,
Are you talking about Microsoft and Bethesda?
Yes.
Well, I don't know if the time of the conferences are exactly the same. I don't think those details have been panned out yet. As for them being on the same day, it's not that big a deal. If they're bold enough to make it the same day, I don't think they're bold enough to do it at the same time slot.
No, I mean, we'd have to check the schedule, and we can look that up here in a second. But
at least not to Bethesda. There were some other ones. I think like EA did theirs on Sunday. They did like a fan. You could come in and play the games. Like that's not a huge deal if they cover up them.
I don't think we have to worry about EA outshining Microsoft. But Bethesda, depending on what they bring, they could.
I don't know what they're going to bring. I was telling Sarah.
They don't have a ton that I think has been like in the works or at least ready to be shown.
There's no way they're going to announce Elder Scrolls yet.
No.
I mean, I would
like it.
Well,
yeah, for sure.
Fallout 4 got like announced like, I don't know, 3 months before it came out.
Yeah.
Like,
they announced it at E3 and released it in like October, November.
Which is ridiculous. Like,
yeah,
there's
but
no way that they're going to show anything that's like.
They've said already that the Elder Scrolls, while yes, there will be another one, is nowhere near even like in development yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense.
Well, and then I don't know if you guys heard there was rumors. I guess they were eating up some fucking copyrights and stuff on another Fallout like titles and stuff like that. They were talking that there's possible like West Coast Fallout follow-up, not New Vegas, but like a West Coast based.
Yeah, I heard word of like a New Vegas 2, some kind of one like that. I don't know. I don't know. I never got into New Vegas. It was just different enough that I couldn't quite get into it.
Yeah.
I never played it. Like I said, Fallout 4 was my first like full experience into a Fallout game, and I'll probably go back and play the other ones eventually. It's just it's hard to go backwards now.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's also nice though, like when they go on sale on Steam and you can get all the expansions and the game for like $15-$20.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's like hundreds of hours of gameplay if you play through all the storylines.
Yeah.
It's insane.
No, there's no doubt that they put in a ton of content there. Well, Jake, what would you hope to see then from Bethesda? I know you put a little note down here. So what do you want to see from Bethesda here?
I tell you what I don't want to see right now. Anything Elder Scrolls or Fallout. As much as I love all the series. I love the games. I've played all of them. They're all amazing. Hundreds of hours into every file. Except anytime you bring up the name Bethesda, what do you think?
Elder Scrolls,
Fallout, or Elder Scrolls.
Well, I know, and I could be wrong. There's probably other titles I can't think of. I know the biggest one they have going into this year's E3 is Prey 2.
Okay, I'm down with that.
Which we've seen a little bit. So this will probably be the conference where they like show it off, like they did with Fallout 4, because that's a big people want to know about Prey 2.
I didn't like Prey 1 all that much. It was okay.
Oh, you didn't? No, I liked it. It was original.
Interesting concept. Yeah, interesting concept. Prey 2 looks better though, like a lot better.
Yeah.
And I've only seen like maybe 2 minutes of it. So.
Though I'm not gonna lie, I kind of regret is not the word, but back when they announced Prey 2 and it was like that bounty hunter game, like I kind of wish that went through, and that's not what it is anymore. But it's a shame.
Yeah, it was a little bit different when they originally announced.
Yeah.
But it was like the first game to do portals and like do them instantaneously, where there was no like loading screen. Like seems like nothing, but like back then that was like mind blowing. Whereas like Portal then came out and was like, huh, you thought that was fucking cool. Get ready to do that for the entire goddamn game. But yeah, no, I mean that's a big one that I definitely am looking forward to. I think that Microsoft has to come out swinging because they went and canceled one of the few games that I was super excited for, Scalebound. Like,
yeah, that was a hard hit.
I'm fucking devastated, man. It looked so epic. You combine.
It's one of the major reasons I even bought an Xbox.
I remember you actually were on board because of that for me.
Yeah. That was, I mean, that and Division with you guys.
Yeah. And
Scalebound was the game.
What about what about you, Dylan? Did you ever check out Scalebound or keep track of that?
No, I didn't check that one out at all, really.
Oh man, did you ever watch any of the trailers?
No, but you did bring up the Division, and I solely bought an Xbox for the Division, and I do not regret my choices, especially after paying for the season pass and the expansions that came out.
Are you gonna play the beta next week for Ghost Recon or this week?
I had a closed beta on PC, and I missed the weekend.
It's open beta the 23rd to the 27th or something like that.
Yeah, I got a friend at work that's been trying to get me to play it, and I'm like, you know, if it can do what they promise it can do, they want to do, like, I'm all about it. I'm just Ubisoft burned me before, so I'm not 100% sold.
Ubisoft burns every game.
on a free beta though, you can't really argue with that.
Exactly,
not going to get trying.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like it's going to be a little bit more polished than the Division was because it's been in the works since they started the Division. So
that's a good sign.
Yeah, hopefully the launch is a lot smoother.
Yeah, as long as we're not like stuck at that fucking loading screen at the very beginning, like for days.
I really love the watch in the Division. However, I believe it's burned into my retinas. It's a wonderful game, but I think I spend of the 200 hours I have into the game, I've spent at least a good 20 staring at the loading screen.
That's for damn sure.
Yeah, right.
No, I was all about the Division, but you know, I'm definitely kind of at the end of that. I need to find something new. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Nintendo brings personally, just because I think that you're right. Like, they have a launch lineup this year that's not like mind blowing. It's consistent and it has some major titles.
It's consistent.
Yeah, it's got 5 or 6 major titles.
E3 is the time to either tease something big or sprinkle in some indies and maybe some smaller Nintendo titles.
And shit, you never know if they could have like something. So one big thing hiding behind. They've done.
I know. Our hope is Metroid.
Oh fuck!
Because even Reggie, when asked about it, was like, "Talk to me in a year, and we'll see what happens." So like, I mean, I doubt they do a whole direct for Metroid, so they have to say something.
God, I would lose it over Metroid.
Because what bugs me about Nintendo with Metroid, because I've seen some interviews. Like today, I watched a podcast and Bill Trinan was on.
Oh yeah.
And they were talking about 1-2 Switch, and just like one of the guys on the show kind of just like snuck in like, so what were you going to see in the new Metroid game? And Bill Trinan is like, what game? But like the way he said it was just like
it doesn't exist.
Like it doesn't exist
ever.
But we can't say it exists. Obviously,
they've been doing that for years though, and it's hurt my heart.
I know. Like, as long as we don't get another Federation Force or whatever it was.
I don't think they're gonna make that one again though.
But you can take this one on the go. It's like I could take the other one on the go. I didn't even buy it.
But now they don't even have to like make a game that's customized for the go because you can just take the Switch with you. But exactly. No, can't get into that yet.
Yep.
That's safe.
Hold it off.
Anything else about E3 that you're really looking forward to? Things that you think you're going to see from the other two, like Microsoft or PlayStation, or even I don't even care, like any developer.
I want to see what they've been pushing for the new Call of Duty this year is going to be back to not
their roots,
the future,
anywhere
but the future.
Please.
So if they take away hovers and jumps, I would be so happy.
100%. Like I don't need Titanfall 4. Like I
Yeah,
don't need
no.
Call of Duty Titan. Like,
Keith, you say that, but Titanfall 2 was so good.
no, Titanfall 2
is amazing.
super
It
good.
was so good.
Yeah,
But it does it better
But
than Call of
I would
Duty.
buy Titanfall 2 for Titanfall 2.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like I've
Yeah.
so many hours in the Call of Duty franchise, and I just wanted to stay.
And you know, it's funny that they say they're going to go back to their roots, because I mean, is that what people want? It's just Call of Duty 1 or 2, but with super fancy graphics? Is that really what we want?
Yeah.
And multiplayer,
we're all
I
cheap,
guess.
and that's all we want.
No, I mean Battlefield 1 is.
We want to
that,
spend
you know what I mean?
$120 a year on the same game with slightly better graphics,
Yeah.
and everybody will be happy.
Look at the Skyrim remaster.
They should pull a Far Cry and do
Attack.
Call of Duty Primal.
Right?
Call of Duty.
Yeah,
An
yeah.
open world Call of Duty game? Hell no. Please no.
Your kill streaks, you could
Primal
like
is so bad.
summon dinosaurs. It'd be great.
You have a 35-day kill streak
Right.
in this persistent open world game. Fuck myself. No, I think that I think Call of Duty going back to its roots is a good idea, but you got to be careful because you can't just make World War II again and think that
Again,
we're going
you
to.
got to do something special to it.
I really want Nam again. We
No,
haven't had a good
Okay.
Nam since. I mean, the
World at War?
Black Ops were playing on that in like alternate timeline thing, but the last good Nam game was Battlefield Vietnam, and that was 2002, 2004. Like,
yeah,
Have they done
forever ago.
Civil War? Maybe they should do Civil War.
that would be so.
That'd be
shitty,
intense.
dude. No,
That'd be cool.
times.
that would be. Oh no, that'd be bad.
Hold on, I'm gonna get you, man. Stop fucking moving.
Totally. That'd be great.
Fuck.
Missed.
That would be the whole game. It would just be a torturous
Yeah.
fucking.
It'd be a bad version of For Honor.
Yeah.
True. Anybody played For Honor, by the way?
I've seen some video. I haven't played it myself yet.
Yeah,
It looks,
I've only
From-
watched.
from what I hear, the one-on-one is really good.
Mm-hmm.
But the 4-on-4 horde mode, which is like the big battle,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
so great. And one of the biggest reasons for it not being great is the fact that there's grunts all over the place.
Oh,
It kind of breaks the flow. They say where the game shines is that one-on-one, you and me combat, and apparently it sounds super deep,
It does.
like strategy-wise.
really?
Yeah, I get a chance to look at the upgrade system and stuff like that. Just the equipment upgrades, it looks pretty intense.
I haven't gotten a chance to watch too much,
Just
but
happened
it looks good. I mean, like obviously, it looks like it plays tightly and stuff like that. I just wonder its longevity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else? What about you, Jake? Anything else that you wanted to talk about E3 wise?
I think Microsoft needs to pull out another new IP since they dropped Scalebound.
Agreed. If they do that and they have
They
like
need something.
and they have a conference that's not filled with media, like we're making another fucking TV show about a game, like they'll be fine. Sony,
Yeah.
I don't expect is coming with giant guns. Like I think this is going to be a little bit like a
Well,
resell what we have out there.
Well, see, and that's the issue with Sony announcing the PS4 Pro and releasing the PS4 Pro is like now they don't have that. So
Mhm.
Microsoft might actually have an edge because
That's-
as much as people might not buy a Scorpio, they at least have the announcement because they're totally gonna show it off.
yeah,
it's
well, I
time.
mean that doesn't hurt Sony either. Like,
Yeah.
he's bought the PS4. I mean, it's not selling like hotcakes. Let's just say that.
So Sony's best bet is to pump out some really good game announcements. Maybe some like I say full fledged. There are okay VR games for the PlayStation, Resident Evil being one of them.
Mhm.
But they need more than Batman and stuff, which are kind of like, here's what VR can do. They need.
Yeah.
Well, don't get too far into that because that's our third topic.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I do want to talk about virtual reality because I think it's an interesting subject, mainly because it's like still niche and stuff. But okay, so E3 is pretty much wrapped up. Nothing else from you, Dylan?
Nope.
Okay, let's move on. Well, let's just talk about like some of the major upcoming releases, things like Zelda, Horizon Zero Dawn. We could talk about their reviews and things like that are coming in. And like Mass Effect is another one that I'm looking forward to a lot. I know that Jake's looking forward to.
Yeah.
What is like the big upcoming game that you guys can't wait to play right now?
Zelda, duh. Zelda.
What about
I'm
you?
so pumped.
What about you, Dylan? What's the big upcoming
Oh.
game you want to play?
That's upcoming. Oh, I don't even know future wise. Like, I really want to get Halo Wars 2, like
Okay.
right now.
You were in the beta for that, right?
Yeah, for the Blitz, the multiplayer Blitz game mode.
Okay.
That's what they had the beta for. But I don't know. I'm just excited for the story on it because it's supposed to catch up story wise to the end of where 5 left off.
Oh, nice.
So there's, I'm assuming some of the characters will mesh into Halo 6 when it comes out.
No, I'm all about that. I actually really liked 5. I think it was underrated. A lot of people shout on that game and didn't deserve it. Like, multiplayer wasn't my thing, but the single player was better than I expected.
Yeah.
Did you finish it, Adam? I know you played it a little bit.
I barely got into it really,
Yeah.
and I'm more so like I was starting to enjoy it. I just more so just like time.
Yeah, I thought there was something to distract you. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about Halo Wars then? Like what was that one all about? Like, I've never played the first one, so.
Oh, okay. It's pretty much like a decent console RTS. I'm gonna play it on the PC, but it's that it's gonna be part of that what do they call it? Where it plays on the PC and the Xbox.
Oh,
The crossplay.
yeah, I don't remember what they call it.
Yeah. I forget what they're tagged it as, but
Yeah.
it's gonna be one of those. So I'll probably be playing it on PC. But it's nice to have that flip. But story wise, I heard it's like 8 to 10 hours of story missions, and you're just gonna be it's a separate captain, Captain Cutter, I think is his name.
Mhm.
And they were like at the end of the first one, they go into like cryogenic stasis, and then they pop up 28 years later, and that's why they're in the new timeline.
Okay.
But they're going to be going against there's a brute that is kind of trying to overthrow the Covenant.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the main bad guy, and it's the normal RTS. You're just going from world to world, setting up bases, killing everything else.
Think StarCraft 2 mixed with Halo.
Yeah. But multiplayer wise, they have like the basic like domination, King of the Hill sort of stuff. Deathmatch, which is just kill each other, and then that Blitz, which is like the money maker of their of the game, it seems. But it's kind of like card based, so they're gonna throw some like microtransactions in there. I'm sure, like they always do to open packs. But they have said that there's no cards
Overwatch
you can get from paid ones that you can't get from regular ones. It's just the time you have to put in. So, kind of think like games like
Overwatch is different. Overwatch is strictly aesthetic.
Buster for a second.
He sat there and was like, no, he's not gonna sit there.
I couldn't let it slide.
No, that makes sense. Okay, so they're gonna be like playing it with the card based where you can kind of open blind packs and stuff like that and get different things.
Yeah, so the best comparison, which is kind of funny because it's just a phone app, but the Clash Royale game on the phones, it's that concept where you have to get multiple of the same card to like level up. So like you need like 10 grunts to get a level 2 grunts, and then you need 50 grunts to get level 3 grunts. So it's just that repetition of having to get packs on packs on packs.
Nice. Okay. Interesting. I mean, I think it's going to be addictive for the community to get into that for sure.
Yeah, I played probably like 6 or 8 hours over the beta, and I didn't run into too many bugs, which was nice. But it was pretty fun. Like the leveling system, they obviously give you a large starting deck of cards that you wouldn't get normally for the beta, just so you can get a feel for some of the high end cards. Yeah. But I could definitely see, dropping like 50, 60 hours just to get some of those nice cards.
A little bit of a slower grind once it actually comes out.
Yeah, I mean, they have daily and weekly quests. So using certain commanders to win, doing certain game modes, so you can get packs faster that way. And then just from winning, you get basic packs and stuff like that.
Nice. Okay, cool. So, any other games you're looking forward to?
My heart's set on Zelda, man.
Okay, Adam, you
there is nothing else.
Tell me what's hyping you about Zelda specifically. I know what I'm looking forward to. What are you looking forward to?
I don't know. It's hard to say what I'm looking forward to without sounding cliche at this point. Like I'm playing through Ocarina. Well, I already finished Ocarina, but I'm playing through Majora's Mask right now.
Okay.
And when Twilight Princess recently came out, I was playing through that one. And as much as I love those games, I mean, like, you have to admit, like, they're very linear is not the word. They're like almost linear.
No, it's pseudo open world. It's not like real.
And I feel like, and I'm always on the fence with open world. Oh, okay,
I'm back.
that was weird.
Oh, he came back. Don't worry, we're back.
I'm always on the fence with open world stuff because it can go so wrong or so right. And I think Nintendo can do it right.
Yeah, no, I think that's.
I think open world adventure, with everything I've seen. Well, I don't want to say too much because I know Jake hasn't. But everything I've seen Link can do, it's just cool. It's just cool. It looks cool.
It does look like a weird mix of a lot of games that we've obviously played over the last like 5-10 years that weren't Zelda, but taking that almost like weird Nintendo Zelda polish and putting that over it, seeing if that kind of connects the dots. No, and I did show Jake the trailer. Did you have any opinions on the trailer so far from what you've seen?
The final trailer?
Yeah, like not
the press conference?
Not like the little ones, but like the big one from the press conference. Yeah.
Okay.
There were a lot of elements, as Keith mentioned, that were definitely taken from other games that are not Zelda. A lot of things in the open world scenes reminded me of pretty much any Bethesda game that's open world. A lot of the climbing physics and whatnot seems taken from pretty much directly from Ubisoft, which could be disappointing, but it's Nintendo, so we'll assume the best.
Sometimes.
The animation style of the game is a huge improvement over my least favorite of the Zelda series, Wind Waker.
Fucking kill you! Oh my god, I hate you so much.
It was a lovely game. I personally just did not like the animation style.
You're stupid.
However, the first comment that I had about the animation style was it looks like Nintendo hired Studio Ghibli.
A little bit. They've said multiple times that while not directly influenced by anime, that kind of they were going for just a taste of just like anime, especially when it comes to like the storytelling. I don't know if you got that from some of the trailer, but
like yes. as she cried into his arms.
Oh, dude, I almost cried myself.
Immediately,
man.
like this looks like a Studio Ghibli film. I'm like, oh, right, like Princess Mononoke Zelda style. I'm all about it. Day one.
Except he gets a Clydesdale instead of an elk.
Although, what if you could ride an elk? There are elk in the game. I have seen that confirmed by trailer.
Yeah.
Confirmed by trailer.
What about you, Dylan? I don't know how much of Zelda you've ever played. Like, are you super into Zelda?
I'm not up to date on this new one coming out just because I know I'm not going to be getting the Switch right off the bat, and I like to myself. But I mean, I played all the classics up through like N64. I didn't really play anything past Wind Waker.
That was your mistake.
Because of the animation style, right?
Oh, stop it, Jake.
I'm gonna kill you.
I didn't like. I'm with you, Jake. I really didn't like.
We're gonna have a full discussion video. It'll be 12 hours long, just about how much better that shit is than regular Zelda.
But anyway. But I mean, I went back and played Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask like at least 5 times each.
Okay, so you're super into the classic Zelda and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I'm most excited is because it's kind of a take back to like early Zelda, not even Ocarina of Time, like Zelda 1. Like it's not going to be as blatantly obtuse as Zelda 1 or Zelda 2 is, like where it's like intentionally not holding your hand at any point, but like literally this game seems to start, you wake up, you walk out of a fucking cave, and you're just off. Like no one
can confirm that's how it happens.
Yeah, no, and yeah, exactly. He literally, okay, we'll get into that, but he got to play it a little bit, so we can talk about that as well. So that's really why I'm most excited is like, fuck the open world shit. Like, I'm absolutely on board with it, but it's not necessary. Like, Zelda's always been about its dungeons. It's always been about like the fact that the story is still really strong, even though it's the same story every time. Like they always tell it in a different way.
Well,
I'm just most excited that they're not holding my hand for 3 hours at the beginning of it.
It's not that the open world is necessary per se, but I feel like if you're gonna make a giant world, you gotta make it open. Mm-hmm. Could you imagine that map as big as it is and be walled off from something? Because game.
It'd
Like-
be terrible.
Like, 'cause all the other games could technically be quote unquote open worlds, but with loading screens and terrain, it doesn't happen. So, like, I don't think open world is necessary,
But it can be good.
but it lends itself to.
That
I mean, if you look at it, it's more open world than the first Zelda game too, because the Zelda game had terrain that blocked you off, and it was technically loading screens. But
Are we having
it is-
audio issues for Adam, everyone?
can you not hear me?
Yeah,
again?
he sounds crackly on my end.
Yeah, I don't know why it's being a little bit crackly.
Guys, hold on.
Just try real quick. Anyway, I'll talk while he's working on that. But yeah, no, 100%. I agree with what you're saying. Like, I think open world is just not necessary. But it is going to be end up being a boon to it. I find that, like, the comment that he made about the physics was interesting because that's something that they've expressly mentioned in a lot of interviews. Is that
They talked about that on that podcast I was watching.
exactly they've worked that. It sounds a lot better. Thank you. They worked a long time on the physics engine, and what they found is, like, throughout development, as they were, like, messing with things, that, like, say they put a boulder on a hill, but because the world has its own dynamic weather system with wind that actually affects the objects, they'd come back to that area and everything would be blown over 20 feet to the right. And so, like, a puzzle wouldn't work because it was a physics-based puzzle. So they had to, like, think about that in a new way. And I think that's pretty cool. I think that's something that a lot of games don't approach to the same extent, but we'll find out. I'm really excited about it. What about you, Jake? What's your game?
Oh, definitely Mass Effect. There's no
Yeah,
question.
that was a
about it.
question.
I have, yeah, that was a very silly question. Of course, I'm here to talk about Mass Effect. So doing this weird thing lately where I'm skipping all the trailers and everything and just diving into any movie or game. I know I sound like a lunatic, but it's improved my gaming experience tenfold.
Which is a shame, because, like, in that first trailer, that girl had, like, a vagina just right on her forehead,
Dude, the vagina,
It's an
right?
alien.
right?
Okay, well, I'm sorry you got fixated on the vagina in the video game, but there's a lot of
Yeah.
that in Mass Effect. I don't know if you
It happens.
noticed.
I still haven't played 1,
So,
2, or
but
3.
pretty much,
Jesus
the
Christ,
entire
Adam.
goal of Mass Effect is the vagina, the guns, and what giant alien are you killing?
That's true. That's, like, literally it.
And if
Small pack.
if that gets brought again, hell yeah!
It's very pretty. I think it looks a lot better than the other ones do.
The graphics are amazing.
Yeah, from that trailer they showed, where she was walking. They were walking over that bridge that was kind of just, like, materializing in front of them.
Oh my goodness! Yeah,
That was really cool.
yeah, from the PS4 Pro highlight video.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I remember that. He hasn't seen that,
Nope.
so now he knows
well.
there's a materializing bridge that has
It's
no
not story related. Sorry, spoilers.
No,
There's a bridge.
Okay, to give you context,
You ruined it.
How dare
I
you.
found out about the bridge.
I showed him one screenshot, and the only reason I showed him this one screenshot was because every single character was helmeted, had no marking signatures on their character that he would have recognized, and there was no way to know where they were.
You
Like,
still probably ruined it.
he was still like, "You better not have fucking spoiled. That looks like the N7 logo." I'm like, "It's not. Chill out. I already
the
looked."
Alliance logo.
Oh,
Come
the
on.
Alliance
It's an
logo,
A.
but it's not.
The shoulders look kind of like Cerberus, but I don't know.
Luckily, there's some story reasons why he wouldn't. There's no way that that's true. So
I'm okay with that.
yeah, I'm not going to tell you why, but it looks like a cool game. No, without spoiling too much, it kind of the main concern I've had is from some of the gameplay footage that I've seen has been like it might be a little bit Dragon Age, and like Dragon Age 3 though, and that was a good game,
I
but
like how you said that as a question.
there's
Cooking?
things about it that get tiresome pretty quickly. Like, I played good 30 hours, but I never beat the story because I got tired of it. Like,
I hear that a lot about Dragon Age.
Dragon Age games are very easy.
Like
to
the
get tired of.
1 and 2 were good, and then 3 kind of like went. It's like almost like they perfected the formula too much,
mm-hmm.
and they got kind of cookie cutter.
And the mission variety is pretty shitty in 3.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's probably not going to be a Mass Effect issue because one thing Mass Effect always did well, side missions were fantastic. Like,
Absolutely.
their stories are really in depth and really good. So that might not be a big problem. But
Yeah.
I think they're using the similar graphics engine too. So that might be why I'm like, I'm getting the Dragon Age 3 vibe. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Did you watch any trailers, Dylan?
Yeah, I've watched just the big trailers that they've released. I haven't watched. Are there gameplay trailers out now?
Just like 20-minute bits.
Brief ones, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've only seen cinematic ones.
Okay, cool. No, I mean, that's fine. That's going to keep you enticed. It looks like more Mass Effect with new characters.
I usually try to stay away from the story games like that. I try to stay away from the gameplay trailers.
Yeah.
Just watch the cinematic ones, get the hype going, but without like Jake said, without getting to a burnout on the actual gameplay without playing it.
What
That's the way to go?
What about when I told you that your save file wouldn't carry over?
A little interesting. The best thing about Mass Effect is all your save files from the first game, decisions from the first game, carry over to the second and third game. So finding out that all of that has nothing to do, supposedly, with the new Mass Effect game is a little concerning, but it also leaves room for a completely new storyline in the same world.
Well, yeah. I mean, if they were connected, that'd be kind of worrying because it's like, oh, well then.
He doesn't know, Adam.
Well, I don't know. I don't know anything about this game. I'm just talking out my ass. But I feel like it's like if the Uncharted save files, just for reference of a franchise, if those all carried over to the next game, and then they decide to make a new game with a new person in it, but your old save carried over, then it'd be worrying. It'd be like, why?
Well, it wouldn't be in Mass Effect necessarily the save carrying over, because in a lot of the Mass Effect games, spoiler if you haven't played it, you die.
But there's also like if you're talking about like decisions you make, I mean, is there confirmation of how far in the future this game is compared to 3?
Not
like this could be like way in the future where the choices you make don't even matter.
That being said, some of the choices you make at the end of 3, if they're led to be like just taken at face value,
kind of make the next game not possible.
In some cases, yeah.
Well, there you go. There's your answer.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of why they like hit the wall. But I think that the reason why they built that whole we're gonna get in the whole indoctrination theory, and there's a whole nother rabbit hole we'd be down for an hour and a half.
Let's not do that.
Yeah. But no, I believe he said "fuck this game" when he found out that the saves didn't carry over. He was just
yes, that's
"fuck this game."
My exact reaction was, "Wait, you mean my 472 hours of previous Mass Effect gameplay don't carry over?"
Okay, it's only 472 hours because you've played them thousands of times.
No, I played each of them like 5 times.
5 dozen times.
On 2 different characters each. 1 Paragon, 1 Renegade, 1 male, 1 female.
Jesus Christ. Well, okay. Well, so I think we understand Mass Effect 3 or 4, sorry. Andromeda.
Oh, it's not even 4.
It's just Andromeda.
It's just Andromeda, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, God. Sorry, Jake. But I think that's a pretty big hype game. I'm definitely going to buy it. I got to figure out when I can afford it during the Switch cycle and also, like, play it, for that matter. Because I anticipate putting hundreds of hours into Zelda for sure.
Yep.
Let alone Bomberman. I'll get into that, but that's just because I
does whatever a bomb can.
That's not what he says.
I wish that's what he said. That'd be great.
Okay, well then let's. Adam, you didn't have. What about you? I don't think I touched on any games
upcoming other than Zelda. I mean, Splatoon looks good. It just looks like more of the same, which is fine. It's Splatoon.
That's me.
Horizon Zero Dawn, I know we talked about a second ago, or brought up very briefly, which I'm super pumped. I hear great things. It's just more of like it falls in line of I'm getting the Switch, and there's not a lot of room for anything else. So that'll probably just be. I might grab that one used someday if I see it on the shelf and just nab it.
Dude, I honestly didn't expect it to get the reviews it's getting. Let's just say that. Like, I honestly thought it was gonna Guerrilla Games is pretty hit or miss, so that's pretty cool.
They had one of the top franchises for a while. I mean, maybe their last couple games were hit or miss, but I mean, they did Killzone, right? Not
Shadowfall though didn't review great. Like
that one didn't, but their heart probably wasn't in it. They were probably like Sony was like, oh hey, we got a new console coming out, make Killzone.
That's true.
But I mean, I hear great things about the first ones.
I didn't get a chance to play them on the PS2. Like it was
neither did I. Yeah.
Console, so I didn't aim for that. I liked what I played, but they weren't Halo quality. How about that? They were good, but they didn't match at that time. That being said, like I said, it's gotten 9s and 10s from every major gaming magazine, so it's obviously not terrible. It's probably going to be pretty sick, and it's definitely got the best graphics I've ever seen on a console.
Oh yeah, it's the one game they showed off where it was like, "Fuck, I need a PS4 Pro."
Yeah, right. It's actually going to run in 4K.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, then let's move over to virtual reality. I know that Adam's got a bunch of opinions on this because he's actually tried a lot more than I have, but I've got a lot of opinions on this because I've tried a little bit less than he has. I don't know about Dylan and Jake. So let's start with Dylan, because we'll get into where Adam and I stand on this in a minute. But what about you? Like, what do you feel about virtual reality? Have you tried anything? Do you have any opinions on like where it's going?
Anything? I've watched quite a bit of like Let's Plays and stuff like that, just to see what but see what the game types are going to be and stuff like that have come out. And I mean, it's definitely it's still in its infancy, like deep game wise, like major AAA titles, stuff like that. But places they're slowly refining it, and I feel like the indie side of the VR is helping like pick out what people actually like.
That's true.
Want from it, so that'll hopefully help larger companies hone in and actually commit some time and money into larger titles.
Okay.
Natalie says VR porn.
VR porn's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty mind blowing.
Well,
Get
I
it?
got opinions on that one.
Okay, go Jake. Have you actually seen VR porn?
It is. It's pretty mind blowing. If you don't know what the concept of VR is, I recommend the first thing you need to do is show your friends a VR porno before any video game, before anything else. Show them the porno, and then they can fully grasp the current technology that is VR.
That bitch is gigantic.
Yes,
that's my initial reaction.
And on
Keith, was that the one to show you?
On these specific VR videos, you get to see just what it's currently capable of. There's, like, as Dylan said, a lot of the indie games are kind of fleshing out what people like and where the genres might be able to go. However, I think, seriously enough, that the adult videos are showcasing more what it can do.
I disagree. I mean,
well, I've only ever used it twice, so disagree.
No. You're not wrong. You're not wrong in what you're saying. You're just wrong in the wording.
Sure.
I think that's
on the spectrum of things VR can do, playing a 3D video is the lowest of the low.
I agree.
Like, you can't do anything, and you can just look around. Like,
there's no.
Don't get me wrong, it's cool. I tried it a bunch.
It could be.
I think take the what's currently VR and give it a controller.
HD Rumble.
And it would be great.
Jake, do you play with the controller? I don't understand.
Well, I think he's talking about like the like
I didn't
Gear
say
VR.
I played big games.
Oh,
get Gear VR, like more like the
yeah.
phone and make it into VR type situation where it's like a lot of that's just observation VR, which is challenging because that's not really the best situation. I've only gotten a chance to get my hands on a Gear VR at Adams, but I did get to play some games.
But even then, those games are very basic. Yeah.
So I'm not gonna like comment on quality or anything like that. I will say that like even on that basic setup for only about 20 minutes, I started getting nauseous, and I almost never get nauseous. So I'm not 100% sure like how much better that is on like say PlayStation VR. I'm interested to see, but yeah, I will say that the first video that Adam ever showed me on it was a porno, and my wife was in the room. It was super awkward. I'm sitting here and I'm just like, she's gigantic because there's something wrong with the fucking scale. She's not heavy. She's just enormous.
My wife looks fine. What are you talking about?
My God, you're trying to get me in trouble here. Jesus Christ. Oh my Lord. I don't even know how to deal with this guy. But yeah, no, it was an interesting experience. I will say that like since then I bought like my own headset that was just like a cheap knockoff on Amazon or something like that. It works fine. It's not like mind blowing. The best experience you can do on a phone is actually just watch a movie in 3D in VR.
Like,
outside of that, games are not going to translate until they like improve screen technology, processing power, and motion tracking. You need all three. Like, it's not there. And once it gets there, though, I think it's a viable option. Are you that bored?
Sorry, Jake.
Back to porn?
Yeah, sure. I can talk about that all day.
Jesus Christ. What about like what would get Dylan? What would get you into buying a VR setup at the cost it's at now? Like what would you need to see?
Non-track play games.
Just more like smooth controls, I guess. More fluidity in the like movements and like I don't know. I'm big into like first person shooters, stuff like that.
Okay.
And all those ones that I've seen, like reloads, that sort of stuff. Like if they make it do it manually, it's really clunky. And I haven't seen too many where you just like press one of the triggers or one of the buttons to reload.
Okay.
That like with the controllers, you either like tone it back on the little things like that to improve the overall gameplay, or somehow make it more fluid so you don't notice that you're taking time to do those things.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Make it more gamey. Like take out the more like I think I agree with you in that like there's a lot of VR experiences right now that are just like, hey, let's make literally real life and put it in VR, but with graphics. If you enjoy it. Like let's put toast in a toaster, or like why don't you try to make bread in VR? And it's just like, okay. Like maybe we should get more fun.
For.
Like,
that is not what gaming
is
for.
They're like fun novelty things. And like I said before, they're good for fleshing out like what works and what doesn't work overall mechanic wise. But it got more towards the actual like gaming instead of just like little novelty arcades. I can play half those games at an arcade in those types of settings and be a lot more like it'll be a lot more enjoyable. You know what I mean?
I know. I think that's a really good argument. I don't know about your opinion on this, Adam, but like I actually think that VR is not ready for home like setup. I think it's much more ready for like us to revamp what we see in like arcades to be almost all VR. Like I think that's a much more feasible setup, at least right now.
I don't think they're not ready. Definitely not ready at the price point that it is now.
That's true.
But I mean, like I've played some games where, and I've told you this, I play, my experience is on the Vive, HTC Vive.
Fucking joke.
And I think life-changing is slightly too strong a word, but it's up there. It's it blows you away how immersive it is. I think one of the standout games I played was called Wildlands, and you basically, because the Vive's got the two
motion controllers.
Whatever their controllers are called, and in the game you've got robot grapple hook hands, and you can shoot those at like the leafy parts of trees. And so the game is to navigate around this very open, very high up 3D world. Oh, my phone's going off. Let me turn that off. But that's the only game that actually got me a little bit sick.
Rube.
Yeah. Because of the motion.
Just a little bit of the motion. It's a very quick game, but I got you kind of brush it off. But that game was cool. I played some other things here and there. As goofy as they are, the job simulator title, that's fun. It's just hard because, and this is the same thing that the Switch is going to have happen to it. If there's no install base, there's no incentive to make games, which is why the indie titles flood the scene. So there's not going to be an install base until the technology gets a bit cheaper. Because like I told you, $800 for a Vive for the games that are worth it is worth it every dollar. It's that cool. It's that amazing. But there aren't enough games to justify it. So I think for a Vive, considering you have to have all the computer bits to run it, I don't know. I think I'd probably pay, I don't know. At the end of the day, no more than 500, considering I have to have a beefy computer to run it anyway. As for the PlayStation VR, that one's right on the money. They just need games. That's all they need.
I think the hard thing to justify is like you bought a PS4 for $300, $400, depending on what you did, and then you got to buy a PSVR for $300. Then it plugs into something else, and it plugs into this. It's not a like clean setup yet. Like it's not all built in. It's not something you pull out of a box and it makes sense. It's something that like is a hard sell. Like VR has been on the mind for a long time, so it's not that difficult. Like they understand what it is, but it's also like, how do you tell that to the person that only plays Call of Duty or only plays this or doesn't play any games for that matter.
No, it's definitely the people who want to play it will find a way to play it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just how it is.
That's true.
But it's so cool, and the Vive specifically. I'm sure the Oculus is fine. It's just it's not as accurate with the motion tracking. I think they're working on the next generation already.
Yeah.
But it was so cool to see.
Yeah, no, I should be able to get my hands on an Oculus eventually, but not today. That makes me sad a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. Personally, I think it's a couple years off right now, like at least.
Yeah.
I think once Scorpio comes out, once PS4 Pro is a little bit more established, you might find that they don't need those extra like processing units and things like that. Maybe they can make it more simple, a little bit more easy to use. You don't have to buy extra controllers type thing. It's all in the box, and that might be something that would be more useful. But it is a one-player experience. It's something that like I think the industry is starting to go back away from again, is a single-player experience. People are wanting to be more and more connected, and I would bet you that in the next 10 years we see couch co-op come back in a real way. I'm hoping that happens with the Switch, but I think
it already is happening, just not in VR.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that's the challenge. Is like if you make a product.
I mean, of all the games I've ever showed you guys, when you come over, couch co-op is like, especially in the indie scene, is back. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, VR is one of those dead end subjects where it's just like we want to talk about it, but it's so expensive that none of us can afford to have one and talk about it. So it's just kind of speculation on our part.
Yeah, you buy it, Jake, and you come back to us and you give us the 411, okay?
Yeah, Jake.
Yeah, right.
I will purchase VR when it becomes much cheaper. Say to the price of a regular console at launch, and I'm not talking about the $600 Xbox for the Xbox One. That's ridiculous. A VR at when it gets down to $400 or $500, then I'll consider it. But only because the experience that you get out of it right now is nowhere near worth that amount of money.
Mm-hmm. That's I mean, I think that's where most people feel right now, and it's not selling as badly as I thought it might. So that's the good news. Is I think there is an industry for it, but it's definitely
what else?
Mind blowing.
I'm realizing as he said what he just said, and I can't quote him because I forgot what he said. But I think the other issue is that it's really hard to sell a VR game or VR with a game if you haven't played it yourself. Like I mentioned, Job Simulator. Like if you were to watch someone play Job Simulator on YouTube, you'd be like, "What is this? This is retarded."
Yeah. But
like being in that game and goofing off is a totally different experience. Mm-hmm. So like from the outside point of view, it's like this is stupid. There's no point. What? But inside, it's like I'm interacting with stuff in this game. Like I'm not hitting. Well, I mean, you're hitting buttons, but like I'm reaching out to touch that button. I'm grabbing things off counters, and I'm throwing things like in the Office one. You can pick up a paper airplane and toss it, and it hits somebody in another cubicle, and they pop up.
Dick.
The immersion is something you can't put in a commercial. You just have to do it, and then you get it.
To me, you mentioned the Job Simulator game a few times. To me, that's like being back in high school and looking for a job, so you go there for a week. That really doesn't sound entertaining at all. So if you wanted to sell that game to someone that has like my mindset, like there was that kitchen game that we had played over at your place on the couch.
Overcooked, yeah.
But if you pointed that game out to me on a store shelf, it's a 5-star game. Everybody loves it. I look at you, you're Rube.
That's what I mean. Like, no normal person would know it was a good game until you play it. But nobody can play it because the system to play it on is $800, and no one has one practically.
And they're not like available out in the public.
The game itself is, I think Job Simulator is $20, which is a little high in my opinion for what it is. But I mean, there's multiple jobs in it, so there's a lot of content there. But it's only $20, but that's on top of a $800 system. Like
so you get to pay $820. We'll say with tax, $850 to learn how to flip burgers. Is that what this is?
But see, you're the person I'm talking about. It's you don't understand until you're playing it and you're
No.
in it.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm sure that's the case. It may be an entertaining game, but again, from someone who hasn't played it, I'm sure there are many people that have the same perspective that I do.
It's just
It's a waste
the games I've played, every single one I walk, even the bad ones, I walk away from them going, I want to have a friend play this. I want to bring a friend. If I had one of these, I'd bring a friend. I'd bring all the friends and have them try this. It's that cool.
So
even
yeah.
Job Simulator.
Well, it's almost like after you watch Game of Thrones, you kind of want to watch your friends watch Game of Thrones
Exactly.
and watch them fucking
Because
freak
you
out
know
when that guy just died. You're like,
Yeah,
fucking,
you know it's good.
Yeah, no. I saw a Let's Play of like somebody playing Resident Evil 7 on VR, right? And I was just like, okay, that's really fucking cool, but it had a face cam and this person just has a giant fucking headset on. I got no expression from them, no reaction.
Yeah,
it's like,
which is like I said,
really hard
you
to get.
can't. It's hard to Let's Play a VR game.
But
like
what I will say is when they fucking lost it and like curled up on the ground in pure fear, I was just like, I understand what they're experiencing right now. And that was like the first thing that sold me on VR. I'm like, yeah, if I played RE7, I'd shit myself.
Yeah,
like,
immersion files, or I guess immersion files. It's a wet dream for them.
Yeah,
because you wouldn't think so. It's like, oh, you can feel it on your head. You know you're not really in it. No, the minute it's on your head and you're looking at the game world, you forget everything going on around you.
mm-hmm.
I can't speak for the PS VR, but
I think it's on par with like it's pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little fuzzy. That's the problem.
I get that from non-VR games.
Well, not like this.
Ramp it up, like to a ridiculous extent where you I've seen
the point where
body functionality on it.
You believe you're there.
I'd poop myself if that was in VR. Like I couldn't
That
handle
would
it.
be great. Alien Isolation on VR, and I would buy it.
I think they modded the PC version to do that.
You could do that. That's what I'm saying. I'm sure you could get them a modded version of it. Yeah. No, I would lock myself in one of their like lockers in that game and never come out.
And never leave.
The first one I saw, I'd just be like, nah, we're done. Okay, turn it off. I'm in a safe place. Done with this shit. No, I think that's a good point. Like I think that's where the VR market is like it's in this really weird infant stage that's not, we're not really certain if it's going to actually make it to toddler, like, or if it's going to make it to 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, and be flourishing, in the environment. I hope so. I actually think if I have to look forward, it's probably VR AR combination.
I hate AR.
AR is a better technology that is way younger. Way younger. If you can make real world your horror, it's the end of the. It's now I don't even know how to deal with it.
It's over.
See, this is where Adam and I completely disagree. I think AR is way more.
I think there are lots of good ideas for AR, and I don't think any of them will come to fruition.
We'll see. Like I said, it's pretty early, so I'm not 100% sure. VR is farther along. I'm excited to see. Okay, so I think we're done. No final thoughts on that.
What time is it? Yeah, let's move on.
Last thing, Nintendo Switch. It's coming out on March 3rd. Hi, Natalie. And
she's creeping.
Yeah, she's a little creepy. She's listening to our thoughts and disagreeing with everybody.
I agree.
But yeah, Adam got a chance to go hands-on with it. So tell us a little bit about the event that you went to, real briefly, and then move on to kind of your impressions, and then we'll open it up to questions. Like, I want you guys to ask him things that you're curious about the Switch. Like, what is it that's not sold you, and does he have the answers, kind of a thing.
Okay. Well, the event I was at was the
your audio.
Nintendo. Is it? Hello. Is that good?
You sound like a robot.
Talk to you.
How about now?
A little better. Okay, go ahead. Okay. Sorry.
So it was Defenders of the Triforce, which is a Nintendo licensed. I say Escape the Room. The room, or the company that does this room escapes. But this one was kind of like, there was like a big area with tables, and then off in another room were like these zones. So I mean, this wasn't a room. This was a next area. And it's basically just puzzles and find clues, and you're all trying to find the a piece of the Triforce sword and defeat cannon.
Mm-hmm.
Very fun. It was a blast. Way more fun than I thought it was going to be. And then at the end, when you get the Master Sword, they pass you cards that we found out were redeemable for 20 minutes if you were alone, if you were with somebody, because the card was good for 2 people. So I split it with a guy, but it was 20 minutes or 10 each of Switch gameplay, as in touching the console. Which was, don't do it again. It's just.
So, needless to say, you liked the console.
I love the console.
What was the initial feel like? Like, what were the things that surprised you about it?
Well, he started me with the Pro Controller, and like I told you, I told Keith all this already. We spoke all the way home like schoolgirls. It was funny. The Pro Controller was the Pro Controller. Nothing surprising. At that point, I was gonna play with it just a bit longer, but I was like, no, I should really do the other ones because I don't even plan on getting a Pro Controller at this point. So I start with the Joy-Cons off the tablet, and Keith, again, I told you all this. The Joy-Cons themselves felt really good, surprisingly good off of everything. My biggest issue playing Zelda, at least, was when you're holding them separately. And I'm going to try to show this to the camera to see if you guys get it. Normally, when you hold a controller, actually that one right here, your hands are angled outward like that.
Mm-hmm.
So like your thumbs have this nice kind of arch. Well, with the Joy-Con, you're holding it like this, and there's no angle to this. So what happened was the thumbstick, which is just underneath the buttons, is straight down. So when you're holding a very small controller straight up against your palm, your thumb, it doesn't want to do this. It wants to come down at an angle.
Mm-hmm.
So I found myself using this bit of my thumb to move the stick. So it's hard to complain about that because you don't have to play it that way. I just happen to be playing it that way.
You're talking about like if you were holding 2 Wii remotes.
Yeah, just separately off of the system. There was no Joy-Con grip. They didn't have one. But I did, after doing that and realizing I don't like this, I put those on the Switch, and it changed everything. It made that problem go away. I imagine the problem goes away on the Joy-Con grip as well. And it's everyone says it in the other YouTube videos, and I understand what they mean. The system itself is tethered to the table. It doesn't add a ton of weight, but it does add a little bit. So it was hard to say how much it weighed, but what I could feel felt fine. I mean, it felt no heavier than an iPad, and people hold iPads all the time.
Yeah, no, those are light.
It was a nice weight. Screen was super clear and crisp. I had a bit trouble discerning the colors, and I think that was only because the TV I was on, their colors were all screwed up. So like I think my eyes just like were having trouble kind of like readjusting to the Switch's screen because the one was so bad. But I mean, it was clear as fucking day. I'll say that much. Like I'm not worried about 720p at all.
That's good.
Like it was gorgeous. But I didn't try. I tried not to play too much of the game. I kind of just wanted to get more of a feel of the console. Because I was like, I'm pulling a Jake. I'd like to not know too much going in. I think I left the tomb, or if I say tomb, I don't know what to call it. The cave.
The cave.
I left the cave. I talked to the old guy right outside the cave. I didn't even read what he said, and then I just started running around. I saw some other people. They were playing. I saw some guy like. And it struck me as cooler after I walked away. He just chopped down a tree, which doesn't sound fantastic, but I mean, this was just a tree. It wasn't a specific tree. It wasn't context sensitive. He just happened to have a big ass axe and was like, I want to chop down this tree. So he chopped down the tree. And then the physics let him roll the log. And it was just like, it's just little stuff like that I think is going to build up to being something super cool.
Fuck yeah, I'm gonna go up onto a hill where there's a bunch of bokoblins down below. I'm gonna chop down a tree. I'm gonna push that fucking shit down, and all those guys are gonna be dead. It's gonna be the best thing ever. Well, maybe not the best thing ever.
Yeah, I have no worry about the console. It feels good.
What about Dylan? What about you? Like, is there anything you wanted to know about like how the console feels or like how it works, anything like that?
No, he pretty much touched on it, mainly on the controller and the tablet combo. I haven't messed around with the Wii U too much, but just getting in the habit of having the dual screens, it changed for me. But
No,
it's not dual screen.
this isn't dual screen.
Well,
when you take the tablet out, it's
so it doesn't have any support when it's
docked.
Playing on the tablet.
When it's docked and it's on your TV.
Really?
Yes.
So it's just a console you take with you. That's how it goes.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Tablet is basically.
I get it. Okay. All right.
He seems so confused.
Yeah. I
It's
just don't like
everything
tablets.
we did like with that.
I don't like
the
little
gaming didn't
things
go over very well.
like that. I like it in the.
Well, like everything that the Wii U did with like second screen gaming, where like they were doing like maps on one screen or like you trying to focus your attention. A lot of people didn't like it. They threw it out. Like they were just like, fuck this.
I love that. That's the only thing I.
So did I. The
I
issue is it wasn't so much the people disliked it. It was developers feeling like they had to do it.
Okay, I can see where they're coming from. I don't know. I like I said, I haven't really messed with either way Nintendo stuff in a long time. But I mean, it looks interesting. Smaller controllers always scare me, but I just have big, clumsy hands. So
like I said, I mean, I wouldn't call them big hands. I've got slightly larger than average, but I mean, those Joy-Cons felt really good. And
I'm curious to see what the grip feels like the what you slide the Joy-Cons in, because that's what comes in the box. Like,
yeah,
it better feel good. And I'm sure it will. Like, but Nintendo's never had bad controllers, like controllers.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure. Worst case, there's going to be plenty of third-party,
accessories
and stuff like that. I'm sure there's one out there that will work for just about everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, that was my only. I haven't really looked into the Switch at all, so knowing that now, I mean, it makes more sense that it's just the console on the go then.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you had Call of Duty on the screen, you take it with you and you go on your trip, kind of a thing. And I think that's kind of that's what sold me on it when I saw it. Like, it's like Wii U is that's what I hoped the Wii U was going to be. And I liked the dual screen gaming. Don't get me wrong. Like, I know a lot of people didn't, but the fact that I could only take that into my bathroom and that was the range, like, was the game breaker for me. And yes, that means that I've been playing my Wii U in my bathroom, and that's what I'll do with my
play Wii while you Wii.
You had also mentioned that was your favorite part about the Wii.
It was, but I'm saying if I could take that into my bedroom also and not have to worry about range and disconnection, that would have been the dream, 100%. I played multiple rounds of Mario Kart with you guys online and crushed you from the toilet. It was the best thing. Now I can do that from the fucking park. And that seems like the best thing in the world to me. I could go anywhere I want, beat your asses in Mario Kart. Prepare for that, because I will beat your asses in Mario Kart.
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever, Adam. Just any day. Any day. Although battle mode will be a new wrinkle. I don't.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'm good at that.
See how good you are at that.
But yeah. I think that's kind of what I was excited about. What about so you're saying like the screen was a little bit weird for you? Is that like?
Well, the lighting in the room was a little weird. It was all like blue lighting because of the artwork and stuff. And like I said, the TV right above my fucking head.
Oh, okay.
The colors on those TVs were screwed up, and I know that because the big TV they had in the middle was great. The colors on that thing were brilliant, and then mine was like it looked like someone took a white filter and put it on the TV. So I kind of just your eyes do things when they see things. So I think it just translated onto the gamepad, or at least the Switch itself. But I don't think it'll be an issue outside.
Any questions, concerns, things you want to ask him?
Well, the only really concern I have is that the last 3 consoles Nintendo has put out have used the exact same trailer. So if you watch the trailer for the Wii, the Wii U, and the Switch, you can put them all right next to each other, and here's a console, here's us playing little sporty games with the console, everyone moving around, doing crazy stuff, and then let's show footage of 2 games, cut.
The only games they showed in the new trailers that you move around are ARMS and 1-2 Switch. Every other game was a controller-based game.
Now, there was the mini game that looked like it was a Harry Potter wand duel.
That's 1-2.
That's 1-2 Switch.
All of those like things that you saw were 1-2 Switch. That's
okay.
one game.
So 1-2 Switch to me sounds the exact same thing as Wii Sports.
It is. And the reason it's not packed in, and I heard this somewhere, I forget where I'd credit it if I knew, but the reasoning behind it was that all this motion stuff for Nintendo this time around is just bonus. As opposed to the Wii, where it was like, that was its main control mechanism.
Mhm.
So you had to shoehorn it in. So that made all the games Lego games. Here it's like, here's a traditional controller scheme, which is just the Joy-Cons on a grip. But if you pop those off, they become motion controllers if you want. You don't have to. Don't worry about it if you don't want to do it. They have to show it does it just a little bit. I mean, because there are people who are interested in that kind of stuff. You have to remember that there are more casual players than us out there in the world. So like, that's what sold Wii Sports.
There should
Was the moving around.
You shaking your head. What are you thinking?
Oh no, I was just making a joke. I said there shouldn't be casual players.
Good man.
But
I hear what you're saying.
but yeah, so it wasn't a pack-in game because as much as the Wii or the Switch can do the Wii stuff, they don't want to off the bat be like, everyone buys their Switch, it comes with this game, and then the people are like, oh, did I just buy another Wii? Like, no, you didn't buy another Wii. You bought a full system. It just happens to be able to do some of the stuff the Wii can.
I think it's a challenging thing, and they're going to walk this line a lot during the life cycle of Switch, because if you show too much 1-2 Switch, those kinds of ARMS, those motion control games, or even like too kiddie of games, like you're going to alienate the crowd that you're hoping to get right off the bat. But
Yeah.
if you focus 100% on them, like you're going to sell a Wii U. And you're going to get 13 million install
Or
base, and
non-sell.
you're going to be dead. Like, I think that you're right. That trailer has about half, at least I showed him the Super Bowl commercial with the extended one. So
Yeah.
about half of that was 1-2 Switch. And then there was like 20 seconds of like other third-party games like Street Fighter 2, which was a cool idea. Like, you know, playing it in a freaking laundromat, never going to happen with a real person, but like cool idea. And then about 30 seconds of it was Zelda. And I think that that's what they have to hammer home a million times over is like,
Yeah.
they're going to
This
sell
plays
plenty
full
of
games.
just on Zelda alone. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then they have to follow it up with E3, like you were saying, with actually something there. I think it's interesting to see, though, like the opinions. Like Jake didn't ask about how the controller felt, didn't ask about how the console felt.
He just knows that it moves.
Yeah, it's like he was more worried about like what are the games going to be like, what are the experiences going to be like.
Yeah.
And I think that's
And I go back, Jake. The issue here is not that there is motion controls. The bigger thing to take away from this is that they're now optional.
I think that's-
The developers don't have.
I like that.
yeah.
But there was something else. Oh, the commercials. The commercials are generally the same. The bigger thing here is marketing. I didn't realize this until people kept posting the Wii U commercial.
Oh, God, it's so
it-
fucking bad.
It never refers to the Wii U as a new console. They only call it new controller.
Mhm.
With the Wii U's new controller, they never once mention that it's its own console. So with this new commercial, you can clearly tell it's not. Oh, well, I mean, I guess if you're in the know, you can clearly tell. But they've done a much better job of like, this is a console. This is what it does. You put it in this thing, and it goes on your TV. You take it out of the thing, and it goes with you. It's a much clearer picture of what you're getting into at this point.
Games I want to see on it, Rocket League. I don't care. Like, I just want to see
Yes.
Rocket League on that shit. Like couch co-op Rocket League, like in the box, sold. I played that until 2 a.m. the other night with my friend, and we just didn't give a shit. Like it was the best thing. Like it
Yeah.
reminded me of my old Smash Brother days, like where we played and played and played and played and played and didn't care what was happening. Like it was just fun.
I don't know. I don't want to be too hopeful on games because I don't want to break my own heart. Because they're still like, as much as they say there's third party to support this time around, like you know at the back of your head there might not be, and I just don't want to. I don't want to build myself up.
That's true.
I'm just gonna take it. I'm buying the console no matter what, but I'm gonna take it as they come.
Maybe they get the Vietnam Call of Duty game.
Maybe, and then you can play
Ew.
it. You could take it on your flight to Vietnam, which would probably be really rude if you don't do that. But
I'll go over one.
Are you able to take consoles with you, Dylan? Like, if you had like a handheld, could you take that with you?
Technically, could I take it? Yes.
should you take it?
Rule wise, probably not.
Am I allowed to take it? No. But
Fair
I'm
enough.
sure I could get a 3DS with me.
So that might be the selling point for you on this one. Would be like that you could actually game
In his
without
tank,
having like a full
in a
Xbox
setup.
or something like that.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Would the Switch be able to play in another country? Because your Xbox here couldn't play there, right?
Yeah. So
And it was
it's
regional.
region-free.
Yeah, it's region unlocked.
You can download games from any region. It doesn't matter. You can play them anywhere.
Nice.
Yeah, that was cool. That was a new thing.
So one thing that I wanted to know, Adam, since you actually gotten to use the Switch, and you emphasize that yes, it is a new console. Compare it to the other consoles on the market. Why should someone buy a Switch instead of sticking with their Xbox or PlayStation 4 or getting a PS4 Pro?
Okay, put it this way, and I think it was Blunty on YouTube that made this point. Let's say it's not, first off, your PS4 or Xbox game that you're looking at isn't exclusive. So let's say, we could use Call of Duty, or let's just something that's not multiplayer. Let's say a AAA single player non-exclusive game is coming out. You've got three options. You got your PS4, you've got your Xbox One. They'll probably be a bit prettier on those. But the minute you leave your house, you're not playing that game. So then you've got your Switch version. So you might be sacrificing just a little bit of graphics. But then you could take that game you're playing. Like let's pretend Mass Effect Andromeda puts on the Switch. Imagine playing on the Switch at home. Stop.
Tread carefully.
Stop. Imagine playing the Andromeda on your Switch at home, and then you've got a fight this weekend, and you know you have downtime during in between some of the things going on. You could take that thing with you. Bring a portable charger, and you've got Andromeda in your tent while you're on, not doing anything.
Now, I'm gonna just put this in perspective from a normal person's day, right? The big emphasis on the Switch is its portability, which obviously it seems to be pretty portable. Looking at an average day, when I leave the house, I'm going to work. I'm going to do something. The average person doesn't have a whole lot of downtime.
I thought that too. And I guess it might be different for you, but like we already have plans for this thing. Like Stardew Valley's coming out for it, right?
I want to play that.
And Sarah likes to play that, and she doesn't go to work in the morning till 10. I mean, she wakes up a little later than I do and deals with the kid, but she can pretty much go to bed whenever she wants. But it gets to the point where she's downstairs playing it on the TV, and it's 10 o'clock, and I'm like, I need to go to bed. I got to wake up in the morning. And she's like, just one more day, just 2 more days. Now, once we get it for the Switch, instead of being like 1 more day, 2 more days, and we take it up into the bedroom, and she can sit there in bed and play it. I even bought USB-C chargers for the bedroom for that specific reason.
What's the difference between that and having a console in your bedroom?
Because if your console's downstairs on the TV and you want to play it upstairs in your bedroom, then you have to drag the console all the way upstairs, cords and all.
Or have it what Dylan has.
Or have someone just play the console on the TV that it's supposed to.
I just have a lot
Or
of
that.
consoles. I see where Adam's coming from on that perspective, but at that point you're like segmenting that gamer base like overall, because at least this is from me and like the people that I've played with on like Xbox for the last 10 plus years. 95% of the games we play. So if we leave the house, I mean, it's no good.
I thought about that. The thing is, I don't think online multiplayers. There are exceptions, like Splatoon, for instance, but like no one's gonna buy Call of Duty on the Switch. It's just not gonna happen.
No, that's what I mean. So
that thing is so
like,
grounded in online But I mean, if it's just another game where if you don't care about playing with your friends, and the idea of maybe taking that game with you when you want because that appeals to me. Like Legend of Zelda, I'm already planning on coming home that night at midnight, charging my console, and then taking it to work with me the next day because I want to play it that bad.
Okay, I guess like Nintendo has a lot more IP that's more single player based, so I see where you're coming from on that.
Yeah,
Like that Mario game, and then even Skyrim. Like they announced Skyrim for the Switch, and Sarah was just like, "Oh no, I'm fucked," because it's just she's gonna be glued to that game wherever we go. I even told her
one specific example that I think Jake will appreciate. There was a point when you kind of were bouncing between houses for a while. And I was constantly trying to get you to play The Division with us, and you either weren't at the house where the Xbox was, or you were about to be leaving. And I can use this exact example saying, I know you were going to a house with Wi-Fi, and you could have taken your Switch with you and played the fucking Division with us, that new house, if that was on the console.
Yes, except that as I mentioned before, usually when you go somewhere, you're going to do something.
But you weren't.
When I go to that house, I was going to do something.
Yeah, but then 2 hours later, you would have been fine and free.
Yeah,
I was asking for that night.
You would have been asleep anyways.
Anyway, that's an example. Like, then the next day, you'd also have the console with you.
Honestly, all this conversation leads to the fact that maybe the console just isn't for you, Jake. I mean, like, it's a sad reality, but that might just be the reality of it. Like, there's no point in getting it, which is a shame because there's going to be some really good fucking games on it. Like Mario Odyssey looks like it's going to make me cream my pants. Like,
he's definitely going to cream his pants.
That shit looks good, and
I'm totally down with the fact that the console may not be for me. I'm trying to take this from a perspective of, like, there's a lot of people out there that probably share the same opinion. So what I'm really looking for is, why would someone who is kind of busy and really only has time to game at home need a Switch?
For that person,
I'm going to bring it to my office at lunch, and we're going to play Mario.
If they like Nintendo, it's for the Nintendo exclusives at that point. And if you don't like Nintendo, then you're not getting a Switch.
Well, and it's a perfect accessory console. Like, you shouldn't ask somebody to get rid of their Xbox or the PS4. Like, those play a specific game that they like. Like, they should keep those.
If you like the Wii U,
that's pretty cool.
If you like the Wii U for what it did, it's just an extension of that. Like when Sarah's playing on the PS4, I'll usually whip up my 3DS. But if I have the option to play fucking Zelda Breath of the Wild right there in my goddamn lap while she's on the TV, I'd rather do that. And then the next morning, if I was in the middle of something, and I can just take it with me to work and finish it on lunch.
Yeah, no, I agree.
What?
Sorry, he whispered something in my ear that was funny. It's not for stream. Anyway, we should wrap this up. I've kept you guys longer than I wanted to. This was a more entertaining discussion than I expected. We'll have to do shorter ones next time. But yeah, hey, welcome to the first podcast or whatever discussion video that we're going to be doing on the Gamecode channel.
Discussion show?
Just so everybody knows. This is normally just a channel for Dylan and me, but we will have guests on and stuff like that. So I invited Jake over here and Adam to come on and give a discussion because I know they knew a little bit about the subject. So, yeah, I just want to, thank you guys for coming on.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'll see you guys all tomorrow.
Basically.
Yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow.
Oh, I'll FaceTime you. Don't worry about it. Take it easy.
Yeah. No, and throw it out there. I'm going to be out of state for the next month.
Okay.
But I'll definitely be able to hop on. If we do it this way, I'll have my phone and laptop with me. Cool. And I'm thinking about taking one of my Xboxes. So if I is at the hotel, we'll see.
God, it'd be nice to have that Switch right now. I'm just saying.
Yeah, right.
Why? I got 2 Xboxes. I'm fine.
Yeah, now you need a whole suitcase.
No,
I'm just kidding.
I might take my TV with me too.
You're good to go. We'll play some Xbox too. So.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, guys. Yeah.
Thanks
for coming in, and I'll talk to you guys around.
Yeah.
Bye bye.